So what is it, minus 20 right now? Feels like a spring day. The fans are on. I'm not going to walk over there because the pile of snow. Just off idle. It's telling me the shed's around that 4.5. And I've been monitoring the shed condition with my internet camera. It's been steady and consistent throughout the shed, so I'm happy with that. I haven't been in there for probably a month now. Well, that's a lie. For a couple of weeks anyways. It feels good not to actually be with the bees all the time. Need a break from those little girls. But not from my bee business. That is one naked looking stubby. I have the coils in. And these are 2 new coils. No delay. Instant. I'm also changing the hydraulic hoses. The old ones are getting pretty gnarly, but I figured I'd waste my time changing them now. So I got all that switched over. Just have to zip tie these into place so they're not in the way. So the next thing I have to do is put Stubby's nose back on. But I don't want to spend, was it $3,500 on this repair? So being the farmer in me, I'm going to build myself a metal eye patch. It's going to look funny, but what can I say? This is a service truck. I'm not going to spend $3,500 on it. On my way to town, I'm busy working on this engine for the 21, and I want to buy a motor stand because we're getting to the point now where we need to be able to maneuver it around, and I don't want to hurt my back as we try to turn this thing up around and just make it easy to work on. So we're chipping away at this project. I took it over to the local motor shop here, and we found 2 problems. One problem that extends from here. I don't know why I didn't see it before. And then the other problem that extends from here all the way across to there. It's quite obvious, but I guess when I'm working in shadows and with the block a little bit dirty, I didn't see that. This is the concerning one, I guess, because it goes into the oil rail, I guess, or possibly could be causing a fault there. Otherwise, this is a minor issue. You'd think the frost plug would give out, but Murphy's Law. So it is something we can repair. But just after I'd found this, and after I took it to the motor guys, I got a line on another. This is a 251 apparently. We can't tell by the bore because it's been bored out to 3.5, but the stroke tells me it's 4.52. So the stroke tells me it's a 251 here. So I got a line on another motor in Winnipeg. It's out of a 52 Dodge Fargo. I believe it's a 218 long block without the accessories. So I think the manifolds will match up because I don't have manifolds and I don't have an oil pan on this other one I'm going to buy for a good price. Well, probably way too much money. So I'm picking them up for just a couple $100. But it was an engine that was redone, but it started to knock. So they pulled it out and they found another and put it in. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. It might be that the top end's all right. It's just the bottom end needs some work. So I don't know. I don't really care. Right now what I want is I want that block, if anything. And at the convenience of just picking one up in Winnipeg for a couple $100, bingo bango. I have some vintage auto body wreckers within the area, and they're, I mean, these are a dime a dozen, I guess, but they're under about 5 feet of snow. And I want this project to be worked on now when I have a little bit of time to be able to put towards it, because the summer is just way too busy, and I want to get this combine in 80 bushel wheat this fall. I mean, I got the spirit to work on it, so a couple $100 for this engine in Winnipeg. We'll bring it back here. We'll see exactly what the issues are on it, and if I can get away with it, maybe, you know, not have to do any of the top end work on it, and either just grind the crank to suit, or I could even, I think I can switch. I think so. I think I can put this crank, I'm going to have to see once we get the motor here, but I might be able to swap this one into this other motor and use this crank and those rods, and maybe put new bearings in it and such like that. I don't know. I guess we'll find out here shortly once we pick it up. But that's the status on this motor. Man, I can hardly wait to get this other one in to see how we can work on it. And if that other one falls through, then like what we're doing here now is we're just stripping this right down. We're going to take the crank out. I got to buy a gear puller because I can't find the one to get that pulley off. So once we get the crank off, we can take apart the cam and all this, and I want to get the kids in there to take a look at how all that works. Strip this block right down. Can I get these bolts out? The studs are kind of stuck. But at any rate, and then it's ready to go to the machinist if the other engine falls through. And they'll do a pressure test on it, I guess, just to make sure that this isn't compromising something important. Patch it up. You know, I don't know if they can bore any more of that. I don't know. I think it's right at its max, but what they could do is just touch it up so that they can put the right cylinder in there. These valves, when it's in there, they might as well just touch the valves up too, and I don't know how much I want to get into it. I'll maybe leave that up to their expertise and my limited budget. But at any rate, we're making progress here, and that is quite exciting. So I'm going to get an engine mount, a gear puller, engine mount, get this thing up so we can work on it and carry on this project. So that is what my eye patch is going to look like. Once I get the main eye patch welded up and installed, painted, then I'll maybe do some decorative trim just to make it kind of look like the other side. It's going to look kind of goofy, but it's going to hold the lights in better, and it's going to kind of hold the integrity to the front a little bit better. If I really want to hide it, I can put a grill. I can make like a moose catcher in the front. So that is my template. I'll get the CNC to cut that out, and then I'll weld this together, put it together, rivet it on, and paint it. And that should save me over $3,500. Why not just spend the money, you ask? Well, there's so many places to put the money. Like over there, and over there, and over there, and there, and there, and there. You know what I mean? So I have to spend, well, no, I mean, I could spend the money on that hood, but I kind of, you know, this is much of what my theme is within the beekeeping operation, is using what I have, keeping costs extremely low, and just rocking out the revenue. As long as things work, and when I'm on top of my maintenance, everything works. I mean, I could have a new truck, new arm, I could have a secondary new truck, new arm, new extractor, new building. I mean, where does it end? And I can be pulling in the same amount of honey. And as long as my facility works, then, maintenance should be able to keep it going. So what I have going here is I wanted a logo that kind of described what I'm all about. I wanted something that is basic, to the point. I wanted something that has sharp edges on it, because I do have sharp edges. My tone maybe sometimes is a little bit blunt, straightforward. I wanted something that was kind of attractive, easy to recognize, but something that if somebody recognizes it, they know what it's all about, but if they don't recognize it, they won't know what it's all about. So I kind of wanted that little bit of, anonymous aspect to it. I wanted something so when you walk into the pub and you have this on my head, that I'm not ashamed of the logo. Like sometimes some of these bee logos can be very frilly and flaky. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to keep it on my head. And I've shown this before, got some feedback, and they say, those wings look a lot like glasses. First impressions. And I was like, oh shoot, I got to change that. But my wife said, all my videos, I have glasses on, and that really suits kind of exactly what I'm all about. Got my glasses on because I have eyes that are sensitive to the light. I'm a squinter, so I'm always wearing dark glasses. So there is glasses on my bee. So it actually is exactly fitting for what I want. So I first put this on my head and I was like, something's not right. Something about this just isn't fitting. I'm not all that clean cut. I don't clean up very often, but I do. My hat was too clean. So I'm working with the engine with my kids today, and I have my hat on. I got this new engine stand and this hoist just to help our backs out. So we got the block stripped right down. Greasy hands, greasy job, greasy hat. And there you go. Now it looks a lot better. So after I break this in, after a season's worth, this should look absolutely classic. And that's what it's all about. So anyways, that's what I have. Kind of cool. Recognizable. Take it for what it is.